Hello friends. Today we're venturing far off the beaten path, into America's forgotten towns. These aren't tourist hotspots. No fancy hotels, no five-star restaurants, just the raw, unfiltered truth of the American experience. We're searching for the soul of places that history books ignore, peeling back the layers to find the human stories beneath the dust. These towns reveal who we were, who we are, and maybe where we're headed. If you believe in honest, unsponsored storytelling, please consider subscribing. It helps keep these journeys ad-free and independent. Are you ready? Let's go. Our first stop is a place where the ground itself is on fire. Welcome to Centralia, Pennsylvania, a town with a story unlike any other in America. Here beneath the quiet surface, an underground coal fire has been burning relentlessly since 1962. Turning this once thriving community into a modern ghost town. The smoke that drifts from the earth is a constant reminder of the disaster that changed everything. The fire began deep in the mines, likely sparked by a landfill burn gone wrong. What started as a small blaze quickly spread through the labyrinth of coal seams beneath the town. Experts believe the fire could continue for another 250 years, consuming everything in its path and leaving the land above unstable and dangerous. Walking through Centralia today feels like stepping into a post-apocalyptic world. The streets are eerily empty, the pavement is split and buckled from the heat below, and wisps of smoke curl up from the ground, hinting at the inferno beneath your feet. It's a place where nature and disaster have collided, leaving behind a haunting landscape. Sidewalks that once bustled with life now lead to nowhere, swallowed by overgrown fields. Driveways end abruptly in tall weeds, and the silence is so deep, it's almost unsettling. The only sounds are the wind and the occasional hiss of steam escaping from the earth. For years, the famous graffiti highway was a symbol of Centralia's strange allure, a stretch of abandoned road covered in colorful art and messages left by visitors. Though it's now buried under mounds of dirt to keep people away, the legend of Graffiti Highway lives on, a testament to the town's enduring mystery. As the fire spread and toxic gases seeped into homes, most residents had no choice but to leave. The government declared the town unsafe, and entire neighborhoods were abandoned. Houses were boarded up, marked with warning signs, and eventually demolished, erasing decades of memories almost overnight. Yet a handful of people refused to go. For them, Centralia was more than just a place. It was home, filled with memories and meaning. They stayed, determined to hold on to the only life they'd ever known, even as the world around them disappeared. Centralia is more than just a collection of abandoned buildings and empty streets. It's a community torn apart by disaster, a slow-motion tragedy that unfolded over decades. The scars left behind are both physical and emotional, a reminder of how quickly life can change. On the hill above town, the cemetery remains carefully tended. Here the spirit of Centralia endures, kept alive by those who remember and honor the past. The gravestones tell stories of families, friendships, and a community that once thrived. Centralia isn't just a quirky roadside stop for curious travelers. It stands as a stark warning about the dangers of environmental neglect and the fragility of the places we call home. The signs that dot the landscape are reminders of the risks that still linger. The story of Centralia is a haunting lesson, a cautionary tale about what can happen when disaster strikes and communities are forced to scatter. It's a chapter in American history that we can't afford to forget, echoing with the voices of those who once called it home. Now, as we leave the smoldering ruins of Centralia behind, let's journey south to a town shaped not by fire, but by the river that runs through it, and by the tragedies that have left their own mark on its history. Cairo, Illinois, sits at the dramatic meeting point of the Ohio and Mississippi rivers. A crossroads that, by all accounts, should have made it a thriving city. Its location was once considered so strategic that many believed Cairo would become one of the great cities of the Midwest, a bustling center of trade and culture, where riverboats and trains brought people and goods from all directions. In its heyday, Cairo was a bustling hub of commerce and industry. The streets were alive with the sounds of business, laughter, and music. Its grand buildings, constructed in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, were symbols of ambition and prosperity. Today, those same buildings stand silent and decaying, their facades crumbling, their windows boarded up, and their stories fading into the past. The city's decline is deeply rooted in a history marked by racial strife, economic hardship, and a series of devastating setbacks. Once a place of opportunity, Cairo became a symbol of what can happen when a community is torn apart from within. In the 1960s, Cairo was rocked by violence, boycotts, and civil rights struggles that tore the community apart. Racial tensions boiled over into open conflict, and the city never truly recovered from the wounds inflicted during those turbulent years. Businesses closed, families moved away, and hope seemed to vanish from the streets. Walking its empty streets today, you can see the scars left behind. Abandoned theaters that once echoed with applause, libraries filled with dust instead of readers, and customs houses that no longer welcome travelers. These are monuments to lost dreams and reminders of a more hopeful past. Yet despite all the hardship, a few residents remain. They hold on to hope and pride in their city's history, tending to their homes and sharing stories of better days. Their resilience is a testament to the enduring human spirit, a quiet defiance against the forces that have tried to erase their community. These individuals are the heartbeat of Cairo, keeping its legacy alive even as the world moves on. Their determination to stay, to rebuild, and to remember is a powerful reminder that even in decline, the human spirit endures and can inspire others. Cairo stands as a warning, a stark example of what can happen when communities fracture, when divisions go unhealed, and when towns are left behind and forgotten by the rest of the world. Its story is not just about loss, but about the fragility of all our towns. It's a reflection on the importance of unity, of remembering our shared history, and of fighting for the future of the places we call home. Now let's travel west to a town frozen in time where echoes of the past still linger in the empty streets and silent buildings. Bodie, California, is a gold rush town preserved in what's called arrested decay. This means the town is frozen in time. Its weathered buildings and dusty streets maintained just enough to keep them standing, but never restored to their former glory. It's as if the past lingers in every creak of the floorboards and every gust of wind that sweeps through the empty alleys. In the late 1800s, Bodie was a place of wild ambition and restless energy. Gold fever drew thousands of fortune seekers, gamblers, and outlaws. The town exploded almost overnight, with saloons, hotels, and shops lining the dusty streets. It was wild, booming, and notorious for its lawlessness and rough characters. But as quickly as it rose, Bodie's fortunes faded. When the gold ran out, the people vanished, leaving behind only echoes of their dreams. Today, Bodie stands almost exactly as it was left. Walk through its silent rooms and you'll find tables still set for dinner, shelves and stores still stocked with goods, and lessons written on chalkboards in the old schoolhouse. It's as if the residents simply stepped out for a moment and never returned, leaving behind a perfectly preserved snapshot of life in a bygone era. Every building and body whispers stories of fortune seekers, hardship, and fleeting dreams. The faded wallpaper, the rusted tools, and the broken windows all tell tales of hope, struggle, and the relentless pursuit of wealth that defined the American West. The isolation here is stunning. Bodie sits miles from anywhere, surrounded by the harsh, haunting beauty of the high desert. The journey to reach it is a reminder of how remote and unforgiving this land once was, and how determined those early settlers must have been. When the gold was gone, so was the reason to stay. Families packed up what they could carry, leaving behind homes, memories, and the remnants of their lives. The silence that followed was profound, and it still lingers today. Bodie is a perfect example of the boom and bust cycle that shaped the West. Towns like this sprang up overnight, flourished for a few short years, and then faded into obscurity when the resources dried up. It's a powerful reminder of how quickly fortunes can change. There's even a legend here. Locals say that if you take anything from Bodie, even a small rock or nail, you'll be cursed with bad luck until you return it. Over the years, the park has received countless letters and returned artifacts from visitors hoping to lift the so-called Bodie curse. Whether you believe in the curse or not, the place demands respect. Visitors walk quietly, almost reverently, through the empty streets, aware that they're treading on the dreams and disappointments of those who came before. Bodie isn't sad or eerie, it's a living museum, a powerful lesson in how quickly fortunes can change and how entire communities can vanish almost overnight. It's a place where history feels alive, inviting us to imagine the lives once lived here. It reminds us that today's bustling cities could be tomorrow's ghost towns. The rise and fall of Bodie is a cautionary tale about the impermanence of prosperity and the relentless march of time. Next, we visit a city built on steel and brought low by its loss. The story of Bodie is just one chapter in the ever-changing saga of America's boomtowns and the ghosts they leave behind. Gary, Indiana was once the Magic City built by U.S. Steel in 1906. For decades it was the heart of American industry, with mills running non-stop and a thriving middle class. But when steel declined in the 1970s, Gary's fall was swift and brutal. Jobs vanished, people left, and the city spiraled into poverty and decay. Today, grand public buildings like the City Methodist Church stand in ruins, majestic, tragic reminders of lost glory. Abandoned schools and storefronts tell the story of broken promises. Yet Gary is not a ghost town. Tens of thousands still call it home. Community gardens, murals, and determined residents show a city fighting for its future. Gary's story is a cautionary tale about dependence on a single industry and a testament to resilience. It's not a city of ghosts, but of survivors. Now let's visit a town erased by poison. Picker, Oklahoma was abandoned not by time, but by toxic disaster. Once a major lead in zinc mining center, its prosperity came at a terrible cost. Mountains of toxic mining waste, chat, loomed over the town, contaminating air, water, and soil. Children played on these piles, unaware of the danger. Lead poisoning and ground collapse made life impossible. The government declared Picker the most toxic site in America and ordered a mandatory evacuation. Today, only skeletal buildings and toxic hills remain, a chilling memorial to corporate greed and environmental neglect. The people of Picker lost not just their homes but their heritage and health. Picker is America's Chernobyl, a warning we must never ignore. Our next stop is a place shrouded in legend and fear. Deep in Connecticut's woods lies Dudleytown, a place erased from maps, wrapped in tales of curses and madness. The land was poor, the town never prospered, and stories of misfortune grew into legend. By the early 1900s, Dudleytown was abandoned, reclaimed by Forrest. Its reputation as a cursed, haunted place draws thrill seekers, but it's now off limits. Dudleytown is a reminder that some places fade quietly, their stories blending history and myth. For our final stop, we head to a perfectly preserved ghost town. Thurmond, West Virginia, once roared with trains and coal, a bustling railroad town in the New River Gorge. Its fate was tied to steam engines and coal. When both faded, so did Thurmond. Today, the National Park Service preserves its Commercial Row, a time capsule of early 1900s America. Only a handful of people remain, caretakers among the ghosts of a boomtown. Thurmond isn't sad. It's a respectful monument to the age of steam and the stories progress leaves behind. Let's wrap up our journey. From burning ground to poisoned earth, from gold rush dreams to haunted woods, we've seen America's forgotten places. These towns teach us about resilience, loss, and the power of stories. If this journey moved you, please subscribe and share. Your support keeps these stories alive. Every town has a story, and every story deserves to be heard. Thank you for exploring with me. Until next time, be curious and never stop exploring.